me show you who has created the game, the Tradescant Trail. Welcome to the Tradescant Trail, it says. It says, embark on a journey to discover the incredible achievements of John Tradescant the Younger, the 17th century botanist who brought the wonders of America to England. Explore his Virginia expeditions. I had full disclosures, I don't know much about John Tradescant apart from my at the farm telling me that John Tradescant brought 4 mulberry trees to the village next to where I live, and one of them is still there. So that's what I'm exploring. So I now learned that he seems to have brought the wonders of America to England, discovered the plants he introduced, learned about his royal connections, and uncover his museum legacy. If I begin and it works when I click on it, early life in Kent. John Tradescant the Younger was born in 1608 in his father, John Tradescant the Elder, was already establishing himself as a renowned botanist and gardener. He was surrounded by exotic plants and rare specimens, and the gentle young John developed a passion for the natural world, shaped his entire life. So, where was John Tradescant the Younger born? I would say Mepham, because I just live next to it. Hey, I got 100 points. Continue. Education and early training. John was educated at the King's School in Canterbury, one of the oldest schools in the world. Here he learned Latin, which would prove invaluable for botanical nomenclature and develop the scholarly foundation that would support his later scientific work. Where did John Tradescant Younger receive his education? Where it says that Canterbury, Canterbury, Canterbury. There we go. So I got another point. Virginia expeditions. Between 1628 and 37, John made several perilous voyages to Virginia, the New World colony. These expeditions were dangerous. Atlantic crossings took months, and Virginia colony is still struggling to establish itself. John was given a promise of new botanical treasures. How many did he do? At least 2, possibly 3, right? Okay. American plant discoveries. John revolutionized English gardens. He brought back magnificent trees like the tulip tree, the majestic bald cypress, and the stunning magnolias. I have one of those in my front garden, by the way, magnolia. He also introduced garden favorites like phlox, asters, and Virginia creepers that still adorns buildings today. It's quite interesting because in our village, it's so sweet. There are loads of magnolias all over the place. And this is a plant that really grows well here, actually. So interesting. Probably John Tradescant who actually brought the magnolias to in my village. Which plants did John Tradescant not introduce from the Americans? Maybe rose, of course. Continue. Royal gardener. When his father died in 1638, John inherited one of the most prestigious positions in England, royal gardener to King Charles I and Queen Henrietta Maria. He created spectacular gardens at Oatlands Palace and Queen's House in Greenwich, designed by the famous architect Inigo Jones. John became royal gardener to King Charles and Queen Henrietta Maria. Hey, I've been winning. The Mapper mulberries. This is what brought me to designing this gamified experience. He planted 4 mulberry trees at Mapham Green in his birthplace of Kent. These trees were likely connected to King James I's failed attempt to establish a silk industry in England. We were exactly discussing about silk because a gentleman I met at the farm, Ken, he spent time in South Africa and he was a botanist. He was showing me some, I think it was elderberry trees that he had crossed between what he called 2 other grandfather trees that he showed me were around his garden. And then I got to know about, and I mentioned to him my father was a botanist, and we talked about silk, and that silk led to his mentioning about John Tradescant, who obviously, lives in the village, or lived in the village. So remarkably, one of the trees still survives at more than 350 years, a living link to John's legacy. Did he plant 4 trees? So I get that. Now, the museum legacy. John expanded his father's famous collections of curiosities, adding American treasures like Chief Powhatan's ceremonial clove. He published the first museum catalogue in English, Museum Tradescantianum. Though controversially acquired by Elias Ashmole, this collection became the foundation of Oxford's Ashmolean Museum, making John a founding father of the modern museum. What happened to John's museum collections? It became core of the Ashmolean Museum. Hey, there we go.